Alright, going to get some basil for our bruschetta tonight. And set up my basil. Go ahead and get some chives as well. Alright, here's our harvest for our bruschetta. Okay, here is our quick and easy bruschetta. Harvested the basil from the garden, some chives from the garden, some Roma tomatoes here that we have, and then it had leftover sprigs of basil. I just put it in a little cup of water. I'll put that in my fridge or leave it out, whatever, because I don't need quite that much. Obviously that's plenty for what I'm gonna need. Yes, I realize there's some really sunned out yellowed ones and I need to wash this all still, but I don't really care. This is called Quick and Easy Lazy Man's version. And then I had some from a previous batch that I dried out. So I'm just going to throw those in there because they were left over from another meal before. So I'm going to use them up and throw everything into this nifty little Vitamix and just rough chop it all and it'll be done. And then we're cheating tonight. We're going to use up this since we had it in the fridge. So some minced garlic. But normally when I'm doing it full on in professional chef bouge, then I will do everything by like hand and chop it and everything, but not tonight. So I'm gonna make up some bruschetta so we can enjoy that for tonight's dinner with our salad. We're just gonna rinse our herbs. Our chives. I'm not going to go super fancy with this tonight because, like I said, I'm throwing everything into the blender, so I'm just chopping it enough to have it evenly distributed. And I'm gonna put the juice of a whole lemon in here because I just like that little bit of citrus in my bruschetta. So I'm just gonna get the seeds out. Actually, a good little trick, just squeeze it into any kind of container and then get you a fine mesh strainer and sift out the seeds so you're not sitting there picking out seeds for forever and a day, because ain't nobody got time for that tonight, at least. Like I said, this is quick and easy bruschetta when you are craving it or just need to make dinner on the fly. So just something like this. Strain out your seeds and pour that directly into the blender and we'll be back. As you see, all you have is some pulp and the seeds left over. No hassle. And of course, in our house, we compost, so we do not throw away any of our produce leftovers, so what I'll just do is take our little fancy compost container for now, dump it in there, along with the lemon. I usually would, but I'm going to use this first in our drinks, just because it's the leftover bit of the lemon that I squeezed out before I actually end up putting in the compost. So that's just a thing. And then I have a hot drum, or you can do wet composting, whatever you compost to your liking, and then you use that for your soil, for your garden. Alright, now we're just on to rough chopping the tomatoes. I don't have to cut these in any certain fashion. If I'm doing small dicing it by hand manually making bruschetta, then yes, of course, you sit there and small dice it out. But I'm just quartering these aromas because I'm going to throw them in the blender and the Vitamix will do the rest. Alright, so now we're going to dump this first batch slowly in here. I'm doing this one-handed, guys, so we'll see how that goes. So it's coming along, coming along. Just quartering away. That's good. Alright, real simple, folks. Take some garlic, and then we're gonna, from our container here, and pour it right on in. Juice and all. Okay, next up we have the basil that we washed and have it ready to go. So I'm gonna hand chop this roughly and then I'll throw it in, because if you try to throw herbs into this, and typically you want to put them on the bottom, let's put the chives on the bottom cut up, they'll get stuck, or not stuck, but just like, you don't want your tomatoes to become soup before your herbs get chopped up. So I'm probably gonna end up rough chopping these by hand real quick, chiffonading, and then throwing them in. But little tip, we don't have like I like the wide strainer options, because then you can get in there easier than like a narrow circular colander even sometimes. So tip, if you have this little air fryer basket kit, I think it's like Red Copper Chef or whatever it was, we don't really use it as much for the air frying lately, so I also use this as our strainer, and then it has the drip pan at the bottom, so it works out nicely. So I just usually let my herbs dry on this thing, or you know, let it air out, whatever you gotta do. It's good for anything, so that's what we typically use for the produce a lot of times, so just a little tip there. You can also get more use out of your air frying basket product. Alright, so like I said, I'm just gonna rough chiffonade chop these guys, like so. And then if you like your super basil-y, add more basil obviously, and if you're not huge on basil, then obviously I don't know why you're even considering bruschetta, but you can make it definitely lightened up, so you can definitely just put less basil obviously if you don't like a strong basil taste in your bruschetta. Alright, and there we have it. I'm putting about maybe a cup's worth into 2 bags worth of tomatoes, which I think is 2 pounds, so looking pretty good. And then obviously we need a little bit of our pink Himalayan salt. Make sure you do not just set it and forget it, because you don't want soup, you want bruschetta. So rough pulse chop, okay? Slowly but surely. See, I'm doing this, just pulse it, people, pulse it. Alright, so went a little bit over, but we don't care. So here's the final product. Just a real quick in the blender. Salsa, aka bruschetta. So now we're just gonna get some toasted bread and call it a night. And voila, there you have it. Fast and easy, lazy version bruschetta, or bruschetta.